Welcome everybody to episode 315 of the Working Fans Podcast. We have not a lot of wrestling to talk about today, but we're working in a little bit. We're dealing with some technical difficulties, but thank God this isn't the worst 9/11 we've had. So before we get to the bulk of the show, please, if you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. And we're gonna start light and we're gonna talk about AEW, because we're catching up on a few things. AEW pay-per-views going to Max. Dave, what do you think about this? And are you happy that we have to even still pay for these things on Max?
I would prefer we had something like we had with Peacock, or just where the pay-per-views were included in the streaming. So that would be nice. I'm still trying to find alternatives, VPNs and stuff like that work. So it is what it is. It's not bothering me too much.
I hope the popular alternative has been canceled.
I just think that I think it's nice that they're involved with Max. I'm glad they're on that type of platform. But yes, I wish we would just get rid of the pay-per-view model altogether. Maybe it's profitable for AEW though. Maybe this is a big thing. I would think their TV rights deal was the biggest thing, and maybe they just can't get Max to share out more money for them for the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I mean, they're not a terrible price. I guess they're like $10 off, so I think they're about $40 on Max. Not the worst deal, but I was, whenever you hear like a wrestling company is on a streaming service, I think Peacock really spoiled us with that, getting the pay-per-views included with the service. But, UFC did it for a while where you were on the ESPN app, but then you had to buy the pay-per-views on top of it. At least they're not as expensive as those UFC pay-per-views.
Yes, absolutely. That's the bright side. But yeah, hopefully at some point we move away from them.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. We are all fucked up today. And speaking of fucked up, we are going to move to our second topic. And this is one that happened a couple weeks ago. We weren't able to cover it in time, but the Raja Jackson incident, we're not going to go deep into it because I think everything that's been said has been said by everybody about this. But Dave, do you want to give us a couple quick thoughts on this?
Yeah, unfortunate situation. We have a guy who had some bad mental health issues in Raja Jackson, and basically Knox Pro just, really not handling this well and putting this guy in this environment. And ultimately, I mean, don't get me wrong, he should still be held accountable. It was his own actions, and he probably should face some jail time or maybe house arrest or something, and he probably needs some, counseling. But at the end of the day, it's just a real unfortunate situation, and bummer for everybody involved.
Yes, this was really, it's been a huge story since it happened. Really it was a lot of little things that went wrong that combined to make this huge situation. And the thing I took away from it the most is the fact that this guy does have, the mental issues, is dealing with the supposed concussion symptoms, but then is also on stream and kind of really letting the comments ruin his life. And I don't know if we are just lucky in the podcast space or if we are almost oblivious, where we'll notice comments and we'll talk about them, but to let a comment really ruin our day or affect how we feel, like that doesn't even occur to us. And I think that's one of many things that pushed him over the edge in this incident.
Yeah, agreed. No, just that's what it all comes down to. It's some kind of insecurity, maybe being the son of a legendary fighter like Rampage Jackson, and just maybe doubting his own personal manhood. But at the end of the day, this guy's trained to be an MMA fighter, and definitely could probably kick both our asses. But at the end of the day, too, and this isn't to toot our own horns, like Joe said, I'm not going to let a comment affect me that much on a streaming platform. Just not going to happen. So I don't know. Again, hopefully he can get some positive reinforcement in his life and get to a point where he can get himself where he needs to be. And hopefully, Psycho Stu ends up being okay after all this too, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. I think it would be interesting to talk to a wrestling promoter about this incident and kind of see how they see it through a promoter's eyes. Maybe that could be a possible future segment. Comparison, Dave, that I'm bringing to us this week, and I didn't even talk to you about this. I just kind of surprised you with this one, is CM Punk and AJ Lee. And the thought I had behind it was these were two comebacks that we didn't think would happen. And I kind of wanted to put which was the bigger comeback. Now, obviously, base level, you're going to say Punk. Mm-hmm. But when I think bigger comeback, I'm thinking almost more surprising, and I kind of put that on AJ Lee because for so long, people had been asking about her, and CM Punk said, there's no way it's going to happen. She's out of it. And then all of a sudden, you see this thing with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins kind of pop off, and it's providing for her return. Her return has been huge. So when looking at the two returns, which do you think was more surprising?
At the end of the day, I still got to go with CM Punk when I look at his first return to AEW, because I just wasn't sure if Punk was getting back to wrestling. And then when he came back to WWE, even though it looked like it more was a likelihood, it was still just shocking. And plus, it's not a knock on AJ Lee, but Punk was just that much of a bigger star. That being said, AJ Lee was quite the surprise, and quite the surprise I didn't really see coming. So I can see the argument there. And also, on a side note, I just have to say, her promos, her promo on Monday Night Raw this week, talking about her mental health and talking about, her journey and getting the crowd to chant therapy was generally some of the most heartwarming stuff I've seen. She just seems to have a real connection to people. And, it's good to see her back. She's almost a comeback I didn't realize I wanted until she came back. So happy for her. Big surprise, but there's not many more surprises that were bigger than Punk, honestly.
I can't argue with you there. And before we get to the main event of today's episode, I just wanted to shout out, because it's been a few weeks since we saw you, and I went to the Woodstock Fair and got this really cool Raw light. And I just wanted to shout out, That's Cool, I Need It on Instagram. He does a lot of, he had like a Monday Nitro light that I was trying to decide between as well. He has the old school WWF logo light, and real wrestling fan. I like what he did. Just wanted to shout him out real quick. And Dave, this has been a short episode today, but I drove home from Maine specifically to talk about WWE Worlds Collide. Yes. And I'm so pumped up about this show. Let's make some predictions so I could get back on the road and go back to Maine. That's how hardcore I am.
Yes, I believe you, and I think mostly you just wanted to hear me try to pronounce some of these names here. So bear with me here, folks, as I pull up the card. I have it right here. All right, let's start off.
Before we get into that, I want to tell you I've been recording some Turn the Page episodes, and if you want to hear a motherfucker butcher some words and some sentences, tune into that show. We'll see where we host it.
All right, well, let me start off with a banger. La Parca, Masquerada Sagrada, Nino Hamburguesa, and Octagon Jr. Hamburguesa versus Latino World Order. Here we go. Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wild, Lince Dorado, and Mini Abismo Negro. All right, Joseph. That's a Lucha Showcase 8-man tag. I was pretty good, especially on that last one. I made sure to be. What do you got here? Who's walking out with the W?
I think it's going to be the AAA team in this regard. Because like LWO is good, even though they have Abismo or Mini Abismo Negro on their team.
Mini Abismo, yes.
So that's not a bad team, but I mean, for the amount of WWE wins that we're going to get on this card, you got to give one to AAA, and I feel like this is going to be the one.
Well, let's see. Let's see how we go here. Eodel Dr. Ragnar Jr., son of Dr. Ragnar Jr., versus Dragon Lee versus Ethan Page versus JD McDonough for the AAA Latin America Championship. Joe, I like the people involved in this match. This looks good. I'm going to say, but this will be another AAA win, I think, actually. I think Dr. Ragnar Jr. Will walk out with the victory here.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm going to throw a wrench in the works. I'm going to say Dragon Lee wins.
Well, that would be my other guess, so we'll see if you're right.
Dr. Wagner Jr. would make sense.
And let's continue on here. The Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez versus Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana. All right. I think I'm going to go with Judgment Day here.
Wow, I was thinking Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana.
They are the hot commodity, especially Mr. Iguana. You know what? I'm changing. I'm going to go with Mr. Iguana because I think we do have some more WWE wins coming over here anyway. So, all right. This one I'm definitely going AAA. Fabi Apache versus Natalya. I'm going with Fabi Apache.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match, but as cool as it would be for Natalya to get that title, it's got to be Fabi Apache. Or it's not even a title.
Well, it is, actually. It says, oh, no, you're right. Number one contender to determine. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking that Flammer was the women's champion.
She is, yep. Pagano and Psycho Clown versus the New Day. Wow, now this is why we have this relationship with AAA and WWE. This is the kind of match like I'm excited about. Like, who would have thought we would have seen these four guys against each other? This could go either way. They could go a couple of different ways with this. Because of my prediction in the main event, I'm going to go with Pagano and Psycho Clown.
Yeah, I got to go with Pagano and Psycho Clown as well. I'm looking forward to the match. I think it's going to be amazing. But it's one of those situations, again, where I don't necessarily see New Day taking the titles off them.
No, it'll be interesting. But I think that the main event, El Vikingo defends that AAA Mega Championship against Dominic Mysterio. I think Dirty Dom is going to walk out with that AAA Mega Championship. I think it's his time. I think he's going to be a big heat getter, and I think he's going to find a way to win.
I think it's going to be Dom as well, but I think it's because of the boos that Vikingo has been getting lately from that crowd that has kind of changed the tide on this. Because if he were still getting like a good reaction, this would be a heck of a main event, but I wouldn't put it as much on Dom. With those boos, I think they're going to try and change the direction and hopefully switch up how people are reacting.
All right, well, we shall see. And if they do put the belt on Dirty Dom, I guess the one thing I'm interested in is to see like who's going to be the guy to step up to the plate and try to get that title from him.
Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting to see who that next contender is. Be a Grande Americano. And guys, you guys have put up with some technical difficulties today. We're not going to sugarcoat it. This one was a rough one, but you know what's not rough? are the sponsors that support. Author Ray Lopez presents Lockup, professional wrestling in our world. Lockup dives headfirst into the colorful world of professional wrestling. Explore the iconic characters, careers, matches, history, and families, and delve into the bizarre and fascinating entwining of professional wrestling and film, television, football, politics, gender, and race. Pre-orders are available now on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com. This is the perfect gift for the wrestling fan in your life. Pick up a copy today on Amazon.com or at MascotBooks.com.
All you goddamn wrestling fans out there, listen, Old Black Bart has got a book. It's called Wrestle Black Bart. It's got some dadgum good stories in there about some dadgum good wrestlers.
Read stories of Dusty Rhodes, the Von Erich, Scott Casey, Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, Mr. Fuji, Ron Bass, Bruiser Brody, Mike Davis, the Grappler, and many others.
And I guarantee you one thing, that it'll be the best dadgum read you've had in a long, long time.
Get your book today at Russellville.com or on Amazon. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harrison, Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.